Chosen ones, hear this final warning. This week in August, God is calling you to a divine turning point. And if you turn away, you might miss the moment that shapes your eternal purpose. This isn't just another week in your journey. While the world drifts through, blind to the spiritual current stirring around them, you'll feel it, a pulse in your spirit, a whisper from the Holy Spirit that declares, this is your moment. God's hand is moving to place you at a crossroads, where every step you take can anchor you to His plan or leave you wandering in the shadows of doubt. This is no ordinary time. This is a divine reckoning, and you cannot afford to ignore it. If you feel God's call igniting your heart, share a spark of faith in the comments to mark your place in His unfolding purpose. Most will pass through these days, dismissing the stirring as mere restlessness, but you're set apart. You're awake to God's voice. You'll sense His presence pressing upon you, urging you to heed the signs others overlook. 3 divine tests are coming. 3 moments of spiritual fire that will shake your soul like a storm breaking over the horizon. God's Spirit, relentless and holy, will not stay silent. It moves through your life in a sacred rhythm. Each test a spark that kindles your faith. These aren't gentle nudges. They're divine invitations, building day by day until the weight of God's call is undeniable. You may not see His hand with your eyes, but your spirit will know, a tightening in your heart, a fire in your bones, a summons to face what you've been avoiding. This is God staging a 3-step refining, a holy trial to test your faith, your surrender, and your courage to speak His truth. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a divine threshold, the ground trembling with God's purpose. In the first test, His Spirit moves like a mighty wind, amplifying every hidden doubt, every unspoken prayer. Small burdens become mountains. Silent hopes roar like thunder. Your heart might race, your soul flooded with convictions you thought you buried. This is no ordinary day. It's a divine spotlight, exposing what lies within. For some, clarity will strike like a revelation, illuminating paths you've ignored. For others, it's a storm, conflicts flaring from nothing, joy overflowing into zeal, sorrow cutting deeper than expected. Yet within this fire lies a gift, the chance to see yourself as God sees you, chosen and called. He demands you step forward or step aside. This is not a moment to underestimate. God's Spirit doesn't just reveal, He commands response. You might feel a burning urge to proclaim His truth, to break free from chains you didn't know bound you, to seize a calling that won't come again. But beware, the same fire that brings clarity can test your heart. Those who cling to fear will see their doubts exposed, while those who trust God's plan will find their path ablaze with purpose. If you feel this holy fire stirring within, pause. Ask, what is God revealing in me? What truth can I ignore? The answers may challenge you, but they'll also set you free. Share a spark of faith in the comments if you're ready to answer His call. The fire doesn't fade, it intensifies. In the next test, God's Spirit moves like a refining flame, holding up a mirror to your heart's desires. The world whispers, sly and tempting, are you seen? Are you enough? These whispers become a chorus, luring you to seek approval in fleeting glances, in the praise of others. You might find yourself dwelling on doubts, comparing your walk to others, or feeling old wounds reopen. Questions of worth you thought you'd surrendered. This is not a day to chase the world's applause or polish your faith for others' eyes. It's a day to stand before God and ask, do I trust His love for me? The trial is sharp but holy. The world dazzles, but it can deceive. The urge to conform, to seek validation, will be strong. Yet God's Spirit reveals a deeper truth. Your worth is anchored in His grace, unshaken by human eyes. For those awake, this moment is a chance to break the chains of pride, not just in appearance, but in craving approval at all. Let your faith shine, raw and unfiltered. If you feel torn between your truth and the world's gaze, share a spark of faith in the comments to declare your trust in God's plan. In the final test, the Spirit moves like a still, small voice, yet it carries the weight of eternity. God's call rules your thoughts, your words, and the unseen currents of your heart. When His voice stirs, the veil between faith and doubt thins. You might hear a conviction, sharp and unexpected, that feels divinely placed. Your thoughts may wrestle, pulling you in opposite directions. This isn't mere doubt. It's a spiritual battlefield where the summit is your shield. Some whispers will be God's truth, gentle nudges from the Holy Spirit, promises that ring clear like a bell. Others are distractions, designed to sow fear or lead you astray. The challenge is to know the voice of your Savior. Signs will flood this moment. A verse at its deep, a stranger's words that echo your prayers, a moment of clarity that feels heaven-sent. But not every sign is yours to follow. Some reflect your fears. Others test your focus. Pause before you act. Test each whisper against the peace of God's word. The true voice calms, centers, aligns. The false one rushes, pressures, confuses. This is a moment to listen deeply, to silence the noise and trust the Spirit within. If these whispers stir your faith, share a spark of faith in the comments to honor your discernment. The divine fire doesn't relent. It burns brighter, pressing you deeper into the crucible of this week. This isn't just a moment in your walk with God. It's a sacred forge where your soul is refined for His greater purpose. You're not merely living these days. You're being shaped by the hand of the Almighty, molded to carry a calling too vast to ignore. God is not waiting any longer. His Spirit is moving, urging you to step boldly into the role He's prepared for you. You may feel it as a heaviness in your spirit, a weight in your heart, as if you're carrying a burden you don't yet understand. This isn't weakness. It's the labor of divine growth. You're not faltering. You're being stretched to hold a purpose greater than anything you've known. If this holy pressure stirs your soul, share a spark of faith in the comments to affirm you're awake to God's call. Picture yourself as a vessel in the potter's hands, your spirit tested by the fire of His refining love. The weariness you feel isn't earthly. It's the ache of transformation. Your faith is expanding, like clay stretched before it takes new form. You might feel unsteady, overwhelmed, or raw with emotion, as if your heart is too full to contain His grace. This isn't a sign of breaking. It's proof you're being remade. God doesn't pour His blessings into vessels too small to hold them. This heaviness is preparation, the sacred strain before divine breakthrough arrives. You're not emptying. You're being carved out to carry His light, a calling that hasn't fully revealed itself but is already reshaping you. Trust His process. The weight you feel is the anchor of His promise. As this week unfolds, God's spotlight on you grows unrelenting. His Spirit pours out boldness and truth, illuminating your path. But for you, the chosen, it's more than a stirring, it's divine exposure. You shine differently now, whether you seek it or not. The world notices. God's Spirit moves through your life, amplifying everything within you. Your prayers carry a deeper echo. Your faith ripples like waves. Your very presence feels like a beacon of His truth. You step into a room and hearts turn. Some are drawn, captivated by the light of Christ in you. Others hesitate, as if your faith reveals truths they'd rather hide. You might notice strangers responding oddly, lingering glances, hesitant smiles, or unexpected tension. It's not random. Your spirit is a mirror, reflecting God's truth to those around you. This visibility isn't easy. It's a divine challenge. You're not called to shrink from it, but to carry it with courage. God is declaring, you cannot hide his light anymore. Your faith is too bold, your presence too radiant. People don't just see you, they see his reflection in you, and their reactions reveal their own hearts. Some will embrace you, others will pull back, but both are proof of your growing influence in his plan. Notice how they respond, not for their sake, but for your own clarity. This week, you're a vessel of his glory, and the world can't help but see it. If you feel this divine spotlight burning, share a spark of faith in the comments to claim your place in his purpose. Then comes a deeper test, a moment where God's Spirit searches your heart. The world's voices rise again, tempting you with whispers of pride. Are you noticed? Are you valued? The urge to seek approval will surge, pulling you to measure your worth by others' words or fleeting praise. You might dwell on comparisons, feel old doubts resurface, or crave recognition like a weary soul craves rest. This is not a time to seek the world's affirmation or polish your faith to please others. It's a time to stand before God and ask, do I trust his love alone? This test is holy but piercing. The world's praise sparkles, but it fades. The temptation to conform, to seek validation, will be strong. Yet God's Spirit reveals a greater truth. Your worth is sealed in his grace, unshaken by human approval. For those awake to his call, this moment is a chance to break the chains of pride, not just in how you appear, but in needing others to affirm your place in God's plan. Let your faith shine, raw and surrendered to him. If you feel this tension between the world's allure and God's truth, share a spark of faith in the comments to declare your trust in his unchanging love. By the end of this week, God's Spirit moves toward a moment of divine finality. This isn't a time for new beginnings. It's a sacred closing, a moment when God seals what you carry forward in his plan. The days leading to this point feel like a narrowing path, a holy urgency. You might sense a call to resolve lingering conflicts, to finish tasks left undone, to speak truths you've held back. This isn't fear, it's alignment. Your spirit knows God's seal is coming, urging you to clear what doesn't belong in his purpose. This moment doesn't ask, what do you dream? It demands, what do you carry in faith? Whatever you hold, consciously or unconsciously, becomes part of his plan. Carrying this forward isn't about imagining new paths. It's about solidifying what God has placed in your life. Look around. Who walks with you in faith? What promises have endured the storms of this season? These are the pieces God is sealing. If you've been holding on to burdens, a grudge, a doubt, a tie that pulls you from his path, release them now, or they'll linger in your journey. If you've hesitated to affirm what aligns with his will, declare it before the moment passes. The urgency you feel is God's Spirit, ensuring you're ready for what's next. By sealing the right pieces, he builds a foundation strong enough to carry your calling. If this holy urgency stirs you, share a spark of faith in the comments to affirm your readiness for his plan. The divine tide doesn't waver. It surges forward, drawing you deeper into the sacred crucible of this week. This isn't just a moment in your faith journey. It's a divine threshold, a holy edge where God shapes who you're becoming. You're not merely passing through these days. You're being refined by his hand, called to shed what no longer aligns with his purpose. The air hums with his unspoken call. Step into your faith or risk wandering from his path. You may feel it as a stirring in your spirit, a restlessness that keeps you awake, as if God himself is watching, waiting for your response. This is no time to drift. This is the hour to rise, to embrace the calling you were born to fulfill. If you feel this holy current moving through you, Share a spark of faith in the comments to anchor yourself in God's unfolding plan. The world may not see it, but you do. God's light is lifting the veil, and suddenly you're no longer unseen. For so long, you've carried your faith quietly, unnoticed by those around you. Your prayers went unheard, your sacrifices overlooked, your devotion lost in the clamor of daily life. But this week, God turns the tide. His Spirit moves through you, reflecting His glory back into the world. People begin to notice. A stranger recalls your name after a fleeting moment. A friend echoes a truth you shared long ago, as if it's etched in their heart. Someone unexpectedly acknowledges the weight of your faith. For some, it's subtle, a glance that lingers. For others, it's profound, old connections rekindling, doors opening to places you never expected to enter. This isn't chance. This is God's recognition, signaling that your time to shine has come. But being seen in His light isn't always easy. God's spotlight burns brightly, and not everyone will welcome your faith. Some will draw near, touched by the truth you carry. Others will pull back, as if your devotion exposes doubts they've buried. You might notice mixed reactions, eyes of awe, whispers of hesitation, even quiet resistance. These are not your burdens. They're signs of your rising place in God's plan. The chosen ones, the awake, don't shrink from this gaze. You're not seen to feed pride. You're seen because God is ready to reveal the role He prepared for you. The glances, the whispers, the unexpected invitations, they're confirmations that the faith you've held in silence is now breaking into the open. If you feel this divine visibility rising, share a spark of faith in the comments to affirm your place in His light. Yet, amidst this recognition, a deeper phenomenon unfolds, one that shakes your soul. This week, you'll glimpse a shadow of the life you could have lived. Call it God's mirror, a divine reflection showing you the path you left behind. It might appear in someone you meet, their life echoing choices you turn away from. It could be a story you hear, a moment that stops you cold, whispering, "This could have been you." You might see someone walking the road you abandoned, living the life you chose to leave, or carrying burdens you laid at God's feet. It's not a perfect reflection, but it's close enough to stir your heart, close enough to make you pause and reflect. This isn't judgment. It's God's mercy, offering closure. He's showing the path you didn't take, not to wound you, but to seal the door behind you. These moments are holy markers, closing chapters that still linger in your spirit. You might feel a flicker of longing, a shadow of doubt, or a wave of gratitude that God led you elsewhere. All are part of His grace. This encounter isn't just about you seeing them. It's about them seeing you, sensing the life they didn't choose. In these fleeting moments, paths cross, acknowledge their divergence, and part ways. The chapter closes, and you walk forward lighter, free from the weight of what might have been. If you catch this divine reflection, share a spark of faith in the comments to mark the moment you surrender to His path. This pivotal moment draws closer to its divine conclusion, and with it, God's Spirit calls for a holy reckoning. This isn't a time for new dreams. It's a sacred sealing, a moment when God fixes what you carry forward in His purpose. The days leading to this point feel like a narrowing road, a divine urgency. You might sense a call to resolve old wounds, to complete tasks left undone, to speak truths you've held back. This isn't fear. It's God aligning your heart with His will. Your spirit senses His seal approaching, urging you to clear what doesn't belong. This moment doesn't ask, "What do you hope for?" It demands, "What you carry in faith?" Whatever you hold, by choice or by hesitation, becomes part of His plan. This is a divine turning point. God isn't asking you to imagine new paths. He's calling you to affirm what aligns with His will. Look around. Who stand with you in faith? What commitments have endured the trials of this season? These are the pieces God is sealing. If you've clung to burdens, a grudge, a fear, a tie that pulls you from His path, release them now, or they'll linger in your journey. If you've hesitated to affirm what honors Him, declare it before the moment passes. The urgency you feel is God's Spirit preparing you for what's next. By sealing the right pieces, He ensures your foundation is strong enough to carry your calling. If this holy call stirs you, share a spark of faith in the comments to affirm your trust in His divine plan. As this week in August reaches its sacred peak, God's hand weaves a divine moment, a fleeting chance that could redefine your walk with Him. Amid the trials of faith, the weight of being seen, and the echoes of paths left behind, a quiet gift emerges from the Spirit's fire. It's not loud, not obvious, but it shines with a holy stillness that only the faithful will discern. This is the golden thread of God's grace begins with an underscore grace, a subtle invitation from the Lord, placed gently before you. It might appear as a word of wisdom that pierces your heart, a moment of clarity that feels heaven-sent, or an opportunity that carries the weight of His purpose. This is no ordinary moment. This is God offering you a key to a door you didn't know was there. If you sense this divine whisper stirring your soul, share a spark of faith in the comments to mark your awareness of His call. This golden thread doesn't demand attention. It beckons softly. It won't force itself upon you or linger if you hesitate. Most will pass it by, mistaking it for chance, a fleeting thought in the rush of their lives. But you, the chosen, will feel its holy weight. It's a moment pulsing with God's purpose, a sign you're standing exactly where He intended. It could be a conversation that shifts your heart, an encounter that feels ordained, or a truth that settles like a cornerstone in your spirit. The test is simple but profound. Will you notice it? Will you trust it? God offers this thread only once, a singular chance to pull and unravel the next chapter of His plan for you. Ignore it and it fades. Grasp it and your path aligns with His will. This thread is not just a moment. It's divine alignment. It's God whispering, "You are ready now." His Spirit has led you to this point, where your faith, your surrender, and your clarity converge. The golden thread is quiet but magnetic, subtle but undeniable. It might feel like conviction you can't shake, a door opening unexpectedly, or a peace that anchors your soul. The challenge is discernment. Amid the trials of this week, God's refining fire, the world's tempting whispers, the Spirit's still voice, this thread is easy to miss. Yet it's the one thing that matters most. If you're awake to His call, you're awake to act. Pull the thread and let God unfold what He prepared for you. If you feel this holy moment shining, share a spark of faith in the comments to affirm your readiness to follow Him. As this pivotal moment reaches its divine close, God's Spirit seals your path with holy finality. This isn't a time for new dreams. It's a sacred locking of what you carry in faith. This moment doesn't invite wishes. It demands surrender. It's a divine seal, fixing what you hold into God's plan for the months ahead. The days leading to this point feel like a tightening cord, a holy urgency. You might feel compelled to speak unspoken truths, to release burdens that no longer serve, to affirm what aligns with His will. This isn't fear. It's your spirit aligning with God's purpose, sensing His seal drawing near. This moment doesn't ask, "What do you desire?" It demands, "What do you carry in faith?" Whatever you hold by choice or hesitation becomes part of His eternal design. This is a sacred reckoning. God isn't calling you to imagine new paths. He's calling you to solidify what He's placed in your life. Look around. Who stand with you in faith? What promises have endured the fires of the season? These are the pieces God is sealing. If you've clung to burdens, a doubt, a fear, a tie that pulls you from his path, release them now, or they'll linger in your journey. If you've hesitated to embrace what honors him, affirm it before the moment passes. The urgency you feel is God's Spirit preparing you for what's next. By sealing the right pieces, he ensures your foundation is strong enough to carry his calling. If this divine call pulses through you, share a spark of faith in the comments to mark your commitment to his path. As this week closes, you stand at a divine crossroads, not a chance, but of God's sovereign will. His Spirit has spoken through these trials, through the mirrors he held up, through the thread he offered. You felt the refining fire, the visibility of his light, the whispers of his truth, and the weight of choices that shape eternity. This isn't just a week. It's a divine turning point, a moment when God revealed who you are and who he's calling you to become. You were never meant to blend into the world's noise. You were born to carry his light, a radiance others cannot ignore. The golden thread, the divine seal, the reflections of lives unchosen. They're all signs that your faith is no longer hidden. The world is seeing you as God does, and now it's time to step forward. This is your moment, your refining, your awakening. God doesn't choose the unprepared. He chooses those ready to carry his purpose. You've been tested, stretched, and seen, not to break you, but to forge you for his glory. As this moment seals your path, trust that every choice you've made, every truth you've embraced, has led you here. You are not ordinary. You never were. And now, God is ready to reflect his truth through you. If this week has stirred your faith, if you felt his Spirit move within you, share a spark of faith in the comments to honor your place in his divine plan. Let this be your vow to walk the path he's called you to, unapologetically, unwaveringly, and with every ounce of his light.